who make Civil War, a Revolutionary War, a hobby, and they were quite surprised too. I have yet to see anything else that marks this spot of Washington and Lee meeting here. And as you can see, it's just a little corner there. That's all there is. And all the old timers who knew about it from their parents or grandparents, they were all gone, and now nobody seems to know about it, including people in our own society. So I had to bring them over here to really show them the place. Yeah. So now we're going to get down to the next block, and okay. Yeah. All right, now we're on the corner of Libby Street. Of course, that's another name for the old Pelham Road. Behind, I'm facing onto. I'm sorry. I'm facing towards what used to be the swamplands of the of Westchester Creek, and so there was a story. Oh, and there was a little street in here called Pierce Street. And there was never had any signpost on it, but everybody knew that as Pierce Street. And they said that was because there was a pier down there by the Westchester Creek. And I was kind of puzzled about it because you couldn't get up here in anything but a raft or a little rowboat, and I couldn't see where it was going to go. So lo and behold, one day I was reading about this area when they cut up the farms and everything. Named after a woman by the name of Peer, P-E-E-R-E. And so, of course, the story got that it was actually a pier down there. Now, this Libby place, that's what we're going to be walking on in a few minutes. There's a couple of stories on that. Originally, it was laid out in 1892 as Liberty Place. And then in 1934 was changed to, it was a reminder of one of the Cornells. Her name was Elizabeth or Libby Cornell. And that's what we have now. We have, they call it Libby Place. And Liberty was a great one. And that in turn cuts in between the Paul farm and the Cornell farm. And when Washington came down, they mentioned that they stopped for a drink in, not a cider, this was water, from the Widow Paul. And I found out a lot of times they never gave the woman's name if she owned the property. You just call the spinster or the widow. So things have changed a little. You come a long way, babe. Okay, so, yeah. We give them a little. Well, here we are at another junction. This is Mulford Avenue and Buer Avenue. Now, the Mulford everybody can pronounce, but Buer always comes in for a little argument. Bury, Buer, and it depends on how they hear it too. Now, Mulford is a combination of two men, Calford and a man named Mullins. Mullen and Calford, I should say. And they own some of the property along here. And Buer Avenue, that used to come right into that Pier Avenue I was talking about before, and now we're working our way north into the old town of Stinnettstown. And Stinnettstown is named after a family by the name of Stinnett, and they have about 11 different spellings to it, depending on the ages and the age that it was written, and also I guess the mood of the town clerk, because sometime in one document it'll be spelled both ways, and they sign it the same way. So, but Buer Avenue is one of your main streets. It also shows where as I say, the Paul farm was over on that side, and this was at one time the Cornells, and both these families go back to the Revolutionary times.
Do you have any idea of the year that these houses were built?
I don't. I'm sorry, but I know the area got its start in about 1910, and when we get up a little further, I can tell you about it because from the other end. All right? Yeah. Yes,
Not
ma'am.
far from here are Pilgrim and Mayflower Avenues. Are they named in honor of Thanksgiving?
Well, you know what happens when they run out of names, and they haven't got numbers. Some town clerk or something, he'll say, "Oh, let's name it after this one." Because you got Pilgrim and you got Bradford, the printer. You got Mayflower and all those names, and that happens with a lot of these clumps. They'll have a whole lot of them from the Civil War. Generals. Then they'll have another section, Spanish-American War admirals, Sly, Sampson, Miles, so on. And then they get down to the lesser breed of magistrates. If you go out by Locust Point, all those streets in there were named after magistrates. At the time they were surveying it. And then the surveyors get their names slid into it. I even got a little park named after me. But I didn't have to die, though.
Is that off Randall? Off Randall Avenue?
Yes, a Randall Avenue. He was also in the
Oh, she says it's your street on Randall.
Oh, it's on Randall, yeah.
It's Randall across...
Yeah.
There's a Burr Avenue in the area that's
Yes, we're coming to it. I mean, we'll be up there to it, too, yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. When I walk along, sometimes I'm going to get standing at the corner of Westchester Avenue and Crosby Avenue. There's no need to talk about Westchester Avenue. We all know how it got its name. But Crosby is the main thoroughfare now. It's taken all the business away from the old Middletown Road. This is the new sector. And this Crosby, this Horace Crosby was he was a surveyor back in the 1850s for this area and also City Island, and but his own property is at the corner of Buckner Boulevard and Tremont Avenue, and it was it's in the area what you say the 45th precinct, the Interboro Theater, and the Crosstown Diner now. But the Crosby Mansion was in the center there, and then it became a German beer garden and bowling alley, and they also had weddings, outdoor weddings. And when I was a little kid, we used to sit on a stone wall and we used to watch the Punch and Judy shows they had there. They had soccer teams, and they had a lot of games that we knew nothing about in those days, about around World War I. Soccer was unknown, and, except that the Irish immigrants used to have a version of it called hurley. And then when it was sold to an outfit called the Teutonia Real Estate Office, real estate, and they divided up into lots. And practically everybody on Revere Avenue and right in behind the Interboro, they're all German speaking. And then now, of course, it was torn down. The old place called Capalbo. It was a tavern in those days. And then they tore it down, and they all you see now is the precinct and the theater, and the theater has gone out of business. Yeah. So that was Crosby. And of course, on this Buer Avenue, that's the same avenue that we've been following all along. Oh, and I should tell you that Crosby was a Civil War colonel. And on this side over here, you've got part of the old farm I was telling you about, the Paul farm, and the Buer farm on this side belonged to the son of Conrad Buer. I'm not sure what his name was now.
Henry.
Henry, that's right. Hey! And that was Henry Buer's land on this side.
Yeah, he was on this side too. He had both sides of the street. He had an extensive farm, rather extensive farm.
That's right. And right now we're going to come to one corner. I mean, we're coming right to the corner now. That's why we took you over here, and we're just going to go one more block and make a bend in it.
I'll tell you what to talk about.
Mr. McNamara, I talked about during World War I.